Wow, don't we have a game on Super Sunday? India, South Africa at the Eden. It can't get bigger than this. My name's anythinhg, and of course, I've been joined by Nikhil Popar and Gurkirat right here, right now, in this match preview on cricket.com. Guys, where do we start? Happy birthday, Virat Kohli. We'll start there. 35. Yeah. Hopefully, you can get all the wishes that you have in your career going ahead. And honestly, cricket.com loves you to bits. Gurkirat, of course, has made a career out of you. And Gurkirat will, of course, pour his thoughts in just a bit. But Nikhil, how are you feeling? It's your fixture, man. It's a Nikhil Popar derby, India, South Africa. Talk to me.
Yeah, repeat of what I think could be the final. And lots of mini battles to look out for. Two teams, most bases covered on a deck, on a ground that's been very, very special for many people. Uh, Even more so for viewers who I keep referring to for score predictions. So, as good as it can get, I think hopefully we are in for a game of the World Cup. Just in terms of not the score, but just the contest, and hopefully a very good game to set up a very good day.
Yeah, I hope it lives up to the billing. Noodleax getting chatty in the comments. Paji going against India, no jersey today. Paji, US polo thodi khel raha hai, bhai. India khel raha hai. And he's on mute as well. Or his audios are working. We can't hear him. What a start from the South African fan today. Okay, I think he'll rejoin in just a bit. We'll get Gurkirat back on just before the toss, of course. Let him just figure that out. Nix, the toss conundrum, man. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
If you're Rohit Sharma, what are you going to do? If you're Temba Bavuma, what are you going to do?
I don't think this is a game where you wouldn't mind losing the toss. Obviously, you win the toss, you'll want to bat, which is great. But the thing is, both teams have qualified for the semis. So no better time to see if you are more comfortable doing something that you haven't done enough. So in that sense, I wouldn't mind both teams wanting to chase as well. Conditions and how they read it is very, very crucial. In the pitch report that we saw from Ravi Shastri and Irfan Pathan, they both reckon that the bounce won't be much, which we've seen in Eden Gardens. It's been a bit unpredictable. I saw that in the Bangladesh game, both the Bangladesh game that we saw today. So if the dude does come in like he did in the Pakistan game, it's a good test for you to see out whether you can, just plan your changes better and see how you are bowling first. So not a bad time to really get going in terms of wanting to chase and see how it works out. This is the stronger side.
Okay, let's see if we can connect with Gurkirat again. Gurkirat, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you. For some reason, the mic wasn't working. I wasn't on mute,
Yeah.
so I,
Ah,
went to the control panel, did some hacks.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah,
it
this
will happen
wasn't
eventually. It will happen
this.
eventually. Let's see.
So,
Early call.
yeah, not wearing a jersey today because I was at work somewhere, so just came from there and joined the show. So yeah, maybe I'll wear the jersey in the mid inning show because we have one today, or in the review show. So yeah,
Okay, so
that's.
Gurkirat, the toss is just going to be upon us. What are you going to do if you win the toss?
I'd hope to lose the toss. Honestly, very difficult one to call because the pitches were different in the two games that happened. The one between Netherlands and Bangladesh, the ball was turning, the ball was holding up. It was not an easy wicket to bat on by any stretch of imagination. In the last game, you also felt that the pitch became better in the second innings. It was a much flatter one with just very slight hold up. So yeah, if you're not sure what the pitch is going to have, might as well hope to lose the toss because the threat is for both the teams. Janssen has for India the threat would be that if the ball swings, you don't want to lose wickets to Janssen, who's been taking power play wickets for fun. I think he's taking 2 wickets in the power play almost every game. Indian bowling attack, especially the pace bowling attack, is also in form. So South Africa wouldn't really want to lose wickets, if the ball's swinging in the second innings. So yeah, it's a difficult one to call. But if you still won the toss, you'd probably look to bat. Probably because for India, why it could be important is because if you have to play your semi-final here, or for both the teams, you also want to be prepared for the case of what happens if there is dew. So from that aspect, you could choose to bat first just to be, just to prepare yourself better for that, the day of the semifinals. Like if you have to bowl second and there is dew, then how do you sort of manage things. So probably on that front, better to bat first.
Okay, super. I mean, the last 5 ODIs, the average first inning score here is 244. Lots more data available like that on cricket.com. So download the app and, of course, check our website out. And not to forget, give a subscribe to the YouTube channel because we've just hit 37.5K and we're moving in the right direction. Give this video a like because essentially it's Virat Kohli's birthday. It's India, South Africa. It's Sunday. What more can you ask for in terms of a November outing? Next, I just want to ask you, not your predictions and all of that, but talk to me about some of the stats here, because obviously the whole focus is on Virat Kohli. We'll get one stat right now. Look at the other batters who scored 100 on their birthday. Tom Latham, Ross Taylor, Jayasuriya, Marsh, Tendulkar, Kambli. Can Virat join this famous club, should we say?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is also the first time that he's playing an ODI on his birthday. So that is one. And again, it's number 49 on a venue which saw 49. So I wouldn't mind that 49 to have different memories now. And already in this World Cup, we've seen two guys have very contrasting results. One guy scored a century, which is there right in front of him, Mitchell Marsh, against Pakistan. And in one match, you saw Litton Das get out for a duck. So I am not remembering Litton Das at all. I'm looking at Mitchell Marsh and going, Shabash, let's go that way. And more so in a chase, but yeah, I wouldn't mind a a good game, a good score, and then 100 comes, then nothing like it.
Okay,
Yeah,
super.
and the first international 100 for Virat came at this venue.
Yeah,
The very
exactly.
first international
Very
100
first one.
in
Yeah,
Yeah,
2009.
it'll be some
yeah.
story. By the way, the captain's out there in the middle. Of course, I'm also peered to the TV, so we'll give you the update as it happens. Meanwhile, if you guys are watching on X or FB or wherever else on social media, give cricket.com a shout out because the last business end of this tournament, and we've put out some fantastic content. We put out a Virat Kohli fan cam video, if that really kind of caters to you, and more fun things like Anar Sridhar inside his academy and all of that. The toss is about to
India
happen,
bad.
and India
India
bat
bad.
first. India bat first. So what do you make of that? And I think honestly, we should just blow them out of the water, Nikhil. 400, man. Come on.
I don't think it's a deck for 400. I would love to if it is, but I don't. It doesn't seem like it. But again, we've read pitch reports like we've read live, so we can never be sure. So let's see how that pans out. But as Paji said, there is due if it is likely. India have bowled very well under lights, so that could also be great. But I think it keeps South Africa in the game as well. India have a long tail, so their pacers will remain in the game, and they'll know that like it is for South Africa, same is for India. It's a 6-5
Yeah.
combination. Keep taking wickets, and that's why you will get on top of it.
Yeah, essentially, we'll tell you the team
And South Africa
combination.
shouldn't really mind this.
No,
South Africa
100%.
shouldn't.
In fact, I mean, you as a West Indian fan, you can contribute in this because obviously, with regards to your shirt color, people want to know your thoughts. And do you think there will be a team change, or do you think there won't?
No, I think the team would be the same for India. I think they will continue with the 6-5 combination, and they have no other option right now, in Hardik's absence. And Sky's done well. Sky's done well in the opportunities that he's got. So stick with that and back your players to do well.
Yeah, 100%. And maybe like you should open the door or ask someone to get to the door because Gurkirat, it's all going off in the Gurkirat household this morning, which is good to see. By the way, lots of people getting chatty in the comments, and please do because that's what we do on cricket.com. We take comments and we make you guys feel special and part of this big community. Yunal Haxman Plus and saying, I thought chasing would have been better with TLS due to rain cover. Do you think India chose to play South Africa's weakness even though overcast conditions favors bowling of Jansen? Next, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think I'm also looking to just read what two captains felt. Something we may not know. See about the rain. I'm not sure how much of rain we thought would come. Yesterday it was very very evident. Not sure if it was evident today. And we have the mandatory RS stat as well because the last 3 times it's happened is gone past 50. So may that continue. And it's a very good omen to have. So yep, I'm not missing out on that.
100%. Gurkirat, I just want to ask you a couple of things right now because I know South Africa will be chasing. And the 2 times they've chased this tournament, they once slipped up against the Dutch and they once just about managed to cross the line against Pakistan. Do you think this will be a real test of their caliber, especially against scoreboard pressure, in that whole 100, I mean, not 100,000, but 70,000 people? Will that really be a good acid test for them?
It would be, and they should not mind this because it is quite likely that they will play their semi-final at this venue, because I don't see India and South Africa meeting each other. So if India, unless Pakistan sneak in and India have to face Pakistan, India's semi is at 1KD. So for South Africa, it's a good test from that regard, because they know their strength is batting first. They've been far more successful in doing that. But come the knockout game, you want to be prepared for doing something which is not your strength. And if you do it at a venue where you be more likely to play your semi-final, might as well. And again, South Africa have had quite a like they've had the right venues to play a lot of games. Their next game is at Ahmedabad. So if they win their semi, then they'll be playing the final at Ahmedabad. That is now, this advantage is something that a team like New Zealand haven't had. New Zealand have not played a single game at Wankhede or at Eden. They've played one at Ahmedabad, but that's about it. So it's good that some teams have had this luck, or whatever you can say. New Zealand had a different advantage, that they had four easy games or three easy games out of the first four, so which helped them cover up their flaws and get ahead of other teams. So yeah, South Africa also shouldn't really mind it.
So no general courtesy, of course, and it makes you think about India's team, and they've gone unchanged because Rohit has clearly said, why change something when we're playing a good brand of cricket? By the way, guys, there's lots more left in this preview, such as key battles, the X Factor, and the predictions, of course. But keep your comments coming through. And I noticed lots of people watching this, but you guys haven't liked this particular video. Please like and share and comment. We'll pin the best ones 100%. And let's talk about the key battles next, because India's batters are going to be coming up with the gung-ho attitude. Right, so Gurkira, time to tell me the key battles in this first innings, my friend, because I know we're going to be doing the mid innings and the review, so there's going to be lots to talk about in that second part of the game as well. But first innings, is it going to be Jansen against Rohit? Because we saw what Madhushankar did to Rohit. I hope to dear God Jansen doesn't do the same.
Yeah, you not only Rohit, you'd have to say it's Jansen versus the top three with some support from Rabada, or maybe if they want to go for Ngidi, depending upon how the surface is. That is one key battle for sure. And now they've brought in Shamsi, which maybe they've probably brought in Shamsi because they feel the pitch is going to offer some turn, because India actually did not mind playing Shamsi when South Africa were here in last year during the for that 3-match ODI series. India sort of did well versus Shamsi, so would be interesting to see how that pair of Shamsi and Maharaj work if India get to a good start, because then the onus will be on them to pull back things. And yeah, the India would really want that they can avoid losing first like 2 wickets in the first 10, because there's not a lot of batting depth. So you want to be taking things slightly easy and then start accelerating gradually.
Okay, Sanjay Papigiri saying both the opening power plays and death overs during South African innings decides the game. Sivarami Reddy, good to see you. Like this particular video. Hugo want to say Iyer versus South Africa's players. You can almost see it for sure. And Neural Hacks was Vasan saying Jansen versus Rohit, Gill versus VK, Shreyas versus spinners. Next, can you think of any other particular matchups? I mean, for example, how do you think they'll plan to get Virat out? Because I don't think he's been out to spin at all. So do you think Jansen up front?
Yeah, and Jansen bowled well to him in the IPL as well. So that matchup will be something to look out for. And then you have Maharaj, who is going to be key, because you look at the setup that South Africa have, you assume that the likes of Rabada will be used only when they need a wicket, and Ngidi should also be used very, very well, because he's had decent numbers. Again, versus Shreyas, the matchup is very, very well known. We saw the Shreyas press conference as well, where you can see the thing that Gurpreet Paji has also spoken about in the past, about the lot of noise that has happened around the short ball. It is playing some part. How much part only he knows. So that could be a very crucial battle. And then Surya Kumar Yadav today versus that South Africa lower order, in terms of the bowling options that they have, that could really be a good one, because you expect wickets to fall here and he will get to bat. So how does Jadeja and Suryakumar Yadav deal with Ngidi, Shamshi, whoever they face at this venue? And I mean, Surya's first memories of Surya's in IPL were 2014 finishing games off for KKR. So I really hope today is the day where he's able to again pull off those fanciness because shorter square.
Nikhil, do you think that South Africa might keep a couple of overs of Maharaj for Surya if he's coming in the last 15, a couple or maybe three?
I think it completely depends on how surface is played till then. They might keep one of
Because that's
Shamshi
been
or
a
Maharaj.
weakness for him. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it will be between one of him and Samshi, whoever is bowling well or however they want to rotate. Because see, they haven't used Makram. They've only used five bowlers in most of the games, so they'll have to be very very sure. Because if it doesn't come off, and if Surya takes off, it will not be a bad. It will look pretty sheepish. So they might not rule it out, but I think it might completely be situation dependent.
And let's see how Surya goes about his innings, boys, because of course India are going to be setting a target here, and only time will tell how much they can get. We'll let you guys know our predictions. Of course, you guys can let us know too. But right here, right now, we're going to be talking about the X factor in this first innings, and I know who Gurkirat has in his mind. Is your X Factor, Paji, who you tweeted about? Because Aries Star going to say, I really like Gurkirat Paji's birthday wish tweet to Virat. Everyone praises his game, but Paji compliment Virat the person. Sorry, I haven't gone through X. Can you please tell us and the other viewers, what did you tweet today?
So I just spoke. See, I think your profession. It's not just related to a cricketer, but professions are temporary. They have a shelf life. Sports persons' shelf life in their profession is even shorter because you could say at an average, a career of a sports person is somewhere between 10 to 15 years. If you are very good, you will probably go beyond 15, but the average is 10 to 15 years. So what they'll do on the field is going to be temporary. It's not going to stay forever, right? Because they will call a time at some point of time. They'll call time on their careers. But I think, and it's also very difficult to imbibe those qualities that they have as a sports person, because it's difficult to match that level. But how they conduct themselves, what qualities they have as a person, is something that I feel is easier to imbibe, is easier to follow, and be more inspired by, because those a lot of those things are transferable to your daily lives, like discipline. It's transferable. It's something that you can always have. Being just comfortable in who you are and not trying to be something that you are, and being organic. So these things I feel are far more transferable and easier to imbibe. And I think that is what makes Virat Kohli a character. I think that is what makes him special. I've said it many times on the show also, that I've had a lot of time to critique his batting, and I feel for the right reasons. But when it comes to the kind of person he is, I relate a lot because similar backgrounds and everything, and there's a lot to learn with that journey. So yeah, that is what the tweet was about. You'd love it if you come across it. But anyway, coming to X Factors,
Okay, go
I'm
on.
going to I'm going to stick with the same one for South Africa that I had in the last game, which is Bavuma. I really think he's getting those starts, and probably it just needs probably the slightest bit of lucks to score a good one, because he's also getting out to the first mistake he's making, pretty much, in the last two games. So maybe he needs that luck to have a good score. So Bavuma for South Africa. For India, I mean, you really can't have Virat as an X factor given how good he is. But yeah, going for KL today, because India are batting first, and KL could come in a situation uh, wherein he would have to come and up the scoring rate. And if the pitch plays true to its nature, he could be, he could come in handy. And but when I mean it's playing true to its nature, I expect the pitch to have a little more pace and bounce. So that is where KL's skill as a middle order batter, as opposed to a Shreyas, Sky, or Jadeja, gets highlighted even more. So yeah, KL Rahul in that regard for me as the X factor.
Okay, Nikhil, he's taken a while to give that X Factor answer as usual. But
because
philosophical lesson as well.
you asked something else before.
Short answers, man. Short answers. There's a lot to get through in the preview. Nikhil, X Factor for you.
Lungi and Giri discussed why, and second spell could be very very crucial bowling to the Indian tail. If I hope they don't get there, but whichever ways, so Lungi and Giri for South Africa. For India, I'm very torn between whether you should go for Gill or Jadeja, because Jadeja hasn't had an impact like that you want to have him with the bat and ball. I don't know if the surface will behave in a way how it should be. So it is one of them, whichever you want to pick. Gill getting a score could be very very crucial for India to not allow Rohit to be into that let's attack more. So I think that's why 50-50 call between Gill and Jadeja. You can back your visualization.
Okay, I think I'm going to go for Kuldeep Yadav as an X Factor. I just feel
Yeah.
like there's something with that boy in this year. Most wickets, I think, in ODIs generally across all teams is Kuldeep Yadav, 43 wickets. And I know that how? Because I have cricket.com as an app on my phone. Right, of course, I just want to show you guys one more particular stat, and that is this one. India's winning streak in World Cups. Where is it? I think we already featured it. Is it on?
This is
Is
the
it
one.
on? Yeah, this is the one, right? I don't know why it's not popping up my screen, but can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yeah, we can see it. Probably your net
And
is slow.
maybe my net's slow, but Gurkirat, what do you think about these numbers essentially?
I should discuss these after the tournament ends. I mean, India have had India have had good streaks in the group stages anyway,
Yeah.
uh, and it just highlights that so many times they've had the resources to be very good. They've just not been able to nail that final blow. And yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This shouldn't come as a surprise given how well India have been in world tournaments in general. I mean, barring the 2021 World T20, India have made the semi-finals in almost every tournament, and that is a very good consistency, a very good consistency rate. That tells you that the team has always been there and thereabouts, and India have not really needed any kind of luck or favor or anything from any side to reach that stage. They've been very comfortably been reaching those stages. So yeah, these streaks at this point of time should be, yeah, pretty much acceptable or pretty much the norm with the Indian team, given how they have been, in these tournaments uh, in the last decade or so. So yeah, for me, there's not much to read there.
All right, guys, we have about like 10 minutes in this preview. So, what I'm going to do is show you some trivia first, and then we'll take all the questions coming in. We really, really appreciate it. So, give this channel a like. Chinmay, Rajay, Prateek, Neural Hacks with Vasant, all your questions. I've already seen them, and I will, of course, pose it to the panelists. What was I going to show you guys? Yes, it is, of course, did you know time on the match preview? And let's find the sting for starters. Right. So, what do we have today in terms of did you know as a fun fact of India and South Africa? Let's have it. And as you can see, South Africa played their first ever one day international against India on the 10th of November 1991 at the same venue that they're playing today. I think that was also the birth of Doordarshan in terms of cricket
No, no,
being aired in India.
no, Doordarshan
As it
was
as a televising cricketing broadcast on Doordarshan for the first time.
that I'm not sure of, but
Or was that against England? I'm
this
not sure.
that
Not
I'm
sure.
not sure of, because I think Doordarshan's been around before that, because there was also the Asian Games in '82 that happened
Yeah.
when color TV came in India.
Oh,
So
100%. I'm saying in terms of getting the first ever broadcast rights in
Cricket.
India for cricket.
Possible.
that not sure, genuinely not sure. But this series happened after South Africa were readmitted, because due
Limited.
to apartheid they were not a part of the circuit for very long. And yeah, I think Kepler Wessels was probably the South Africa captain at
Yeah.
around that time. Not sure.
No, I think you're right. I think it was
Yeah, I
Wessels
think I'm
out
back.
of
I
them.
had gone.
But no worries. So that was a little trivia. But now with that out of the way, we can of course pan into some questions, of course. And let's start with Chinmay, who just goes to ask a simple one to mix your captaincy picks, please. Because lots of people are building the fantasy team. Check it out on cricket.com. But what do you think
Yep.
today, Nick?
Difficult to go past Kohli and Quinton as the obvious options. Again, informed guys. You many will back them, and you should too if you feel strongly about them. You want to try Kuldeep, you can do. You want to try Jansen, you can do. You want to go proper Jaimatadi, you can back Miller if you feel that in a chase he's done well against India on good batting decks. So if you feel this will be a good batting deck, but again, probably not a captain choice, but most often most people will go for top order options, or you have Shami, Kuldeep, Rabada, Jansen. So you have enough options from both sides. I don't think it's a easy game to call in terms of what will happen, because the biggest unknown is the deck. You really don't know how the deck is going to play. So that keeps everybody in the game, and yeah, you don't mind that.
Okay, fair enough. Gukira, take Aditya Anand's question because he says Dravid did say that they don't decide 11 based on the pitch on that given day. It's pretty much decided already. Do you think it's slightly outdated mindset, asking purely out of curiosity?
See, with Hardik being ruled out, your 11 is going to be pretty much the same for all decks. You cannot bring in Ashwin because then you'll have to drop a pacer, and I don't think it's feasible to play with only two pace bowling options. Sky has done well, and at that number six position, he's more suited than Kishan, even if he hadn't had that 49 versus England. So yeah, at this point of time, it they don't have the flexibility. Maybe if Hardik was there, then they could have decided, okay, who's going to be our number eight. So with Hardik being ruled out, you could pretty much be assured that Ashwin and Shardul will struggle to get a game. Kishan will only get a game if someone gets injured. So Hardik getting ruled out has taken any sort of surprise factor out
Options,
of the
yeah.
Indian 11.
Okay, indeed. By the way, Pratik Thakre's question is something that they will definitely discuss in length in the mid innings show. So please join us then. And of course, Gigi as well will rate Clarkson's technique. Promise you that in the mid innings show because we want to, of course, talk about the first innings more often than not in the preview. I'll take Neural Hack's question here because it does, of course, relate to Shubman Gill and how he's going to go about his business in the next 10 minutes or so. Do you think the Gill problem in defense will be exploited with the Janssen swing? Before you answer that, boys, 50 people watching, please like this video. Please, for the love of God, for the love of India, for the love of Kohli, etc., etc., etc. Gukirat, you start with this, and then Nix can add on.
Playing left arm swing might just help him slightly more because if Jansen's really getting it to swing in or getting it to swing, from that angle you can always choose to play only for the in swinger and let the outswinger beat you. That is still one way you can deal with that threat. A bigger problem becomes when it's a right arm pace bowler coming from over the wicket and having the ability to move both ways like Vokes has. So at that point of time, then setting up becomes difficult because you are not sure, which line should you play for, and that dismissal versus England, because it was Fuller. Gill felt that okay, even if there's going to be bit of swing, I'll still be able to get my bat on it because it may not swing as much. Probably, I feel yeah in that dismissal, maybe the ball also wasn't full enough because had he just looked to protect his stumps, might have not edged it. So with the left arm, I think actually for him the bigger threat today could be Rabada,
Rabada.
especially because Rabada's actually been bowling well. He's been bowling that 5 meter length very well, and he's been getting it to move both ways. So if he's bowling slightly fuller and bringing it in, that could be a bigger threat for Gill than Jansen, because against Jansen he can just if the balls he can just make up his mind that I'll only play for the ball coming in. I am happy to get beaten on the outside edge. It's fine. The ball's not going to swing around for long.
I think that's well explained. And by the way, Aniruddha, we stand corrected. Sorry, you're absolutely right. I just remembered right now. Clive Rice
Clive
was the
Rice.
captain, 100%. Nick, he's tackled that question well. Why don't you take Kushal's? And of course, Gigi, I'll come to your question as well. Should we expect to see a change side in the last match, irrespective of how India plays today? Really quickly from you.
So I think it'll probably be down to if anybody has any niggle and they want to take care of that. Because other which wise, as Paji said, there aren't too many options for you to play around with. The 6-5 versus Netherlands venue is also such that you'd not want to change a lot of things. So uh, only if injuries and hopefully none.
Okay, fine. Sanjay, of course, making a point what Nikhil made earlier when he compared Sky to, of course, how the
Yeah.
South African bowlers are going to go against him in this first innings, in the end part of the innings. So that 49, Sanjay, I completely agree with you for sure. By the way, yeah, 20 likes to go hit it. Absolutely. Because Virat, of course, 49, give us 49 likes minimum. And then, of course, over and above that is always appreciated. Gigi, why don't you take this from for Gurkirat? Also, why has everyone suddenly stopped questioning Shreyas' position? He did good against the mediocre bowling attack, in my opinion. Wow.
Might have been a mediocre bowling attack, but wasn't really a flat deck, so as to say, to start hitting from ball one. So you have to give him that. And runs are runs. I think many were more worried about his dismissals, the way he had gotten out. Probably if he gets out, early again, wherein he's not able to arrest a collapse, then the questions and swords will be out once again. So this has happened enough that one innings really makes people go in extremes. So we the idea is to always be somewhere in the middle, looking at a greater sample space. So everyone might, uh, but yeah, if you've watched enough cricket, you shouldn't. You can't really control what everyone else is doing or not doing.
Okay, cool. And we have last couple of questions. And Noodle Hacks going to say, but what if Jansen goes round the wicket and he still has some cutters? And if I'm not wrong, another question: how efficient and Ngidi be with this pitch slightly being on the slow side? Next.
Even which is why Angiri is my X Factor player. Because I expect him to be able to create chances, and also he gets uneven bounce, which I think could really trouble if you are looking to play horizontal bat shots. So he will definitely be crucial there. And Janssen, see, I haven't seen Janssen do as well going around the wicket. Again, it could just be me, but I think most of its best wickets have come when he's used that angle and used the short ball very well. So I think he'll stick to that. But the venue is such that you really have to get your line very, very right. Because it's a very quick boundary scoring ground, and India will love if they just miss their lines and they are able to get a few boundaries here and there. So I think it will be a good game of a lot of tactical things being tried.
And while Jansen has picked wickets, he's sometimes struggled for control because he's bowled a lot of wides.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
coming around the wicket for him to nail the line and the length is not going to be easy. It takes a lot of practice. It's because you rarely have to come wider of the crease, then land it, and then hope it will leave the batter. Because most of the times you will not get the ball to leave the right hander from that angle. It will, if anything, mostly come in. So it becomes easier for the batter to then set up himself. That okay, the ball's going to come in. Maybe I could, take a slight shuffle and look to, find the gap on the leg side. And outfield here is maddening quick. So
Yeah.
once it has crossed the circle, it's better to save your energy.
Super. That's a good insight. Let's see if you guys can give me some good predictions before we wrap up, because Rohit Sharma is, of course, taking guard. And Melville, I have a trivia too. He goes on to say Siddharth is the only player to have played 3 or more matches in this World Cup and has not batted yet. And Saturday Cruz agrees with him. Look, we're building a community. Everyone's everyone love our content, like it, and it is, of course, thing. Runs are runs, pace is pace. We've heard that, of course. And Aditya Anand being cheeky, Indian tails going 40 runs again. No. Okay, so quickly, prediction time before the first ball gets rolling. One word answers, gentlemen. What are we going for? I'll start first. 353 for 6. Virat Kohli 120. Boom.
320, 320 for 8, somewhere around that.
And Kohli?
Would love 100, but let's see.
Okay, Nikhil?
Okay. 302 all out, Kohli 100.
Okay, love it. Honestly, love it. By the way, if you guys just want a quick reflection of the points table, both these two have the cues next to them, and only time will tell who will join India and South Africa in the semi-finals. Remember, we're going to be at the mid-innings mark, picking the bones about India's first innings. So join us then. Plenty of other things to watch on cricket.com. Check out all our shots on the YouTube page. You will love it. Trust me, you won't regret it. And more fun things on the website, indeed. Thanks so much, guys. Saturday Cruising 375. I thought I was optimistic.
Yeah.
and neural hacks agreeing with Gurkirat. That's all we have in this one. It's a goodbye from us. Follow us on social media, and may the best team win. It's, of course, India, and I'm going to be biased because it's Sunday. Who cares? We'll see you soon. It's a goodbye from us.
Cheers. Chakte.